If you're new to investing, you've probably heard the phrase S&P 500 thrown around a lot. You've probably heard the S&P 500 has produced 8 to 10% annual returns on average for its investors since inception. But what companies and brands that you know and are familiar with are included in the S&P 500? In this video, I'm going to simply explain how the products and services that you use on a regular basis make up the S&P 500. I've been wanting to make this video for a long time, so you, someone brand new to investing, can have a clear and simple understanding of what the S&P 500 is and how it relates to your everyday life. My promise to you and hope is that by the end of this video, you will have a lot more confidence and understanding when investing into an S&P 500 index ETF. There are timestamps below, so feel free to skip ahead to your favorite companies if you want. So let's get into it. Microsoft, the most valuable public company in the world at the moment. The four most recognizable segments of Microsoft's business are Windows, Microsoft Office, Xbox, and LinkedIn. Apple. Now, I probably don't need to explain Apple a whole lot, but you have the iPhone, you have Mac computers, you have the Apple Watch, you have AirPods, you have iPads. Pretty soon in the future, the Apple Vision Pro version 10 or whatever is going to take over for phones. So Apple's going to become known for that. Next, we have Alphabet, which is the parent company of Google. So we'll just call it Google. Google owns, obviously, Google Search, YouTube, Android, which powers all phones aside from iPhones, as well as the infotainment system in your car. And they also own Fitbit. Next we have Meta, which is Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Threads, Oculus VR. Berkshire Hathaway. If you've heard of Warren Buffett, which you probably have, quick history lesson for you. In 1962, Warren Buffett started investing in Berkshire Hathaway. At the time, it was a struggling textile manufacturing company. He eventually took control of Berkshire in 1965, and he fought to keep the failing textile business for over 20 years before actually giving up. At the same time, he started to use Berkshire Hathaway as a holding company for the many businesses and stocks that he purchased over the next few decades. Charlie Munger, who Warren Buffett called his right-hand man, guided Warren Buffett toward buying excellent companies at a fair price and holding on to them. And in 1972, they purchased See's Candies, and they called that their turning point. And Charlie Munger formally joined Berkshire as vice chairman in 1978. So Berkshire Hathaway owns a bunch of different companies. So among those companies are Geico Insurance, you know, that commercial with the gecko or lizard. They own Duracell batteries. They own Dairy Queen, Fruit of the Loom. They own one of the largest railroads in North America, BNSF, and they have sizable investments in Coca Cola, American Express, and Apple. Amazon. So you obviously know Amazon because you order stuff online through Amazon. You know, Amazon has Amazon Prime. We use Amazon because shipping is free when you have Amazon Prime, and that's changed the entire world and how we shop. Amazon also owns Whole Foods. They own Audible. They own Twitch, which is pretty huge nowadays. And obviously they're in streaming through Prime Video. I don't know if anyone uses Amazon Music to stream, but they have that, I guess. And they have Amazon Robotics. They're creating robots. Visa, Mastercard, and American Express, the three biggest credit card companies in the world. Tesla. Obviously, you know Tesla. There's Teslas all over the road. We have big box stores. We have Walmart, and we have Target, Costco, Johnson & Johnson. Johnson & Johnson owns a bunch of brands that you find at your local drugstore. Some of the big names: Aveeno, Clean & Clear, Neutrogena, Benadryl, Nicorette, Polysporin, Band-Aid, Listerine, and of course, Tylenol. And if you happen to wear contacts, they own the brand AccuView. Procter & Gamble. So Procter & Gamble manufactures the leading brands in many different categories. So Procter & Gamble has many household products with household names in skincare, hair care, baby care, feminine care, personal health care, family care, fabric care, grooming, home care, and oral care. So some of these brands are Gillette, Olay, Old Spice, Pampers, Bounty, Charmin. So you can see they have the leading paper towel and they have the leading toilet paper brand. Always, Head & Shoulders, Pantene, Vicks, Tide, Febreze, Swiffer, Oral-B, and Crest. So they have 2 out of the 3 biggest toothpaste brands. You'll see Colgate a little later. Disney. Disney has many different assets and many different companies and subsidiaries below it that it owns. So here's the list. Walt Disney Animation Studios, Pixar, Marvel Studios, Lucasfilm, which is Star Wars, ABC, National Geographic, Hulu, FX, ESPN, Disney Plus, and Hotstar. So Hotstar is, if you didn't know, is the largest premium streaming service in India. And of course, you can't think about Disney without its physical resorts and cruise line. So we have Disneyland Resort, we have Disney World, Disney Resorts in Shanghai and Tokyo, Disneyland in Hong Kong, Disneyland in Paris, and Disney Cruise Line. Home Depot, Netflix, Coca Cola. Of course, everybody knows Coca Cola. It is a global brand, and there are actually only 2 countries in the entire world where you can't buy a Coke, and that's North Korea and Cuba. So here are the brands that are under the Coca Cola umbrella. You can see the brands on the screen here. I'll just name the big ones. You have Coca Cola, Sprite, Fanta, Minute Maid, Smart Water, Dasani, Vitamin Water, Fresca, Powerade, PepsiCo. So Coca-Cola's biggest competitor, Pepsi. So Pepsi is a little different from Coca-Cola in that they have beverages and snacks under their umbrella. So you can see the brands under Pepsi. So I'll just list off some of the big ones. We have Pepsi, Aquafina, Bubbly or Buble, sparkling water. Starbucks drinks that you find at gas stations or convenience stores is under the Pepsi umbrella. Gatorade, Brisk, Mountain Dew, Muscle Milk. And then in terms of snacks, we have Cheetos, Doritos, Fritos, Lay's, Ruffles, and Tostitos. McDonald's, Uber, Lowe's, Nike, TJX. TJX, they own TJ Maxx, Marshalls, HomeSense, and Winners. Boeing, Airbnb, Starbucks, Mondelez. So Mondelez is yet another snack food company that you've probably never heard of, but these are the brands that Mondelez owns. The big ones are Cadbury, Cadbury Dairy Milk, Halls, Maynard's, Sour Patch Kids, Oreo, Ritz, Chips Ahoy, Toblerone, and Philadelphia cream cheese. Chipotle, Marriott, Colgate-Palmolive. So as you can see on the screen, Colgate-Palmolive, which is dish soap. We have Hello, we have Fleecy, we have Irish Spring, soft soap, Speed Stick, Tom's of Maine, Hill's Pet Food. PayPal, I'm sure you've heard of PayPal. A lot of online retailers take PayPal. Some only take PayPal. It's a secure form of sending payments. Fedex, Motorola, Monster, Capital One, another credit card company. Hilton, another hotel company. So we had Marriott before, now we have Hilton. General Motors and Ford. Public Storage, the largest brand of self-storage services in the United States. Pretty sure we have them in Canada too. Constellation Brands. So Constellation Brands owns Corona and Modelo. Kraft Heinz. So Kraft and Heinz, they merged some time ago to form Kraft Heinz. Of course, they have mac and cheese and the condiments that you use on a regular basis. As you can see on the screen, there's some other brands that they own, like Jell-O, Kool-Aid, Lunchables, and Grey Poupon. Otis. So have you ever been on an elevator or on an escalator before? Well, chances are it was probably an Otis elevator or escalator. The largest elevator company in the world. Hershey. You probably know Hershey for Hershey's Kisses, but they also have a bunch of other brands. So we have Hershey's Kisses, Icebreakers, Jolly Ranchers, Kit Kat, Reese's, Rolo, Twizzlers, Cadbury. Cadbury appears under Hershey's and under Mondelez, and that's because one company has rights for one part of the world and the other company has rights for another part of the world. General Mills. I'm sure you've heard of General Mills. It's the cereal company. So here are the brands on the screen that General Mills owns. So some of the big ones: Cheerios, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Trix, Fiber One, Lucky Charms, Dunkaroos, Liberté Yogurt, Yoplait, Haagen-Dazs ice cream, Betty Crocker, and Blue Buffalo, which is pet food. Yum Brands. So Yum Brands you probably never heard of, but Yum Brands owns 3 of the biggest fast food chains in the world: KFC, Pizza Hut, and Taco Bell. HP, eBay. I'm sure you've heard of eBay before, place where people go to buy and sell things online. Live Nation. So Live Nation makes a lot of money off of the majority of the concerts that exist, and they own Ticketmaster. So if you ever bought a ticket for anything like sports or a concert, Live Nation got a cut of that. Tyson Foods. You probably don't know the name, but it's the world's 2nd largest producer of chicken, beef, and pork. They actually supply KFC, Taco Bell, Burger King, and McDonald's. Kellogg's. Another cereal company. You can see the cereals that they own on the screen. So the big ones, we have Frosted Flakes, Fruit Loops, Rice Krispies, Corn Flakes, Corn Pops. Clorox, which has a bunch of different cleaning products. Bestbuy, Domino's Pizza. So if you're already invested into an S&P 500 indexed ETF, such as VFV here in Canada or VOO in the US, now you probably have a better understanding of the brands and companies that you're investing into with each and every share. So I hope that brings you a lot of confidence. There are actually hundreds more companies in the S&P 500, and I chose relatively simple yet interesting and exciting companies that we all use and consume on a regular basis. So I'm sure you get the picture. So you consume the S&P 500 on a regular basis, so why not participate in the profits and the growth of those companies? Now, I purposely left out a lot of more complex companies or companies that the average person wouldn't find interesting or consume, but maybe I'll do a part 2 in the future if this video gets 100 likes. So let me know in the comments below if you feel a lot more confident about investing in the S&P 500 after watching this video. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And as always, be sure to drop a like if you found value in this video, and I will see you in the next one.